But technically, because X5 was supposed to be the end of the X series and a lead into the Zero series, I think the bad ending is actually more canon?
Ah, crap baskets. Oh, I get to do the cool thing! Yeah, baby! Oh, that's hype. Hype and actually a good idea. Because with the Hemigon, but actually, yep, it was this. It was here the whole time.
I swear if that goes to 99. Good.
Great. Awesome.
That's 100.
100.
Caterus is 95.
What?
So, Caterus is 95, so that's...
The thing is, though, we're actually...
close to that warp to Caterus, so...
What?
We're close to the warp to Caterus, so you could do the thing.
Oh, it was this! I forgot about this one! We came in here, I remembered, while I was running around like an idiot, that we came in here and could never figure out how to do this stupid grapple puzzle because it's 3 missiles and the, like, regular blocks. Oh, I got it! That's all I needed. I got it. That's 100%.
At least it should be.
100. We're done.
Is that every area?
100, 100, 100, 100, 100, 100, 100, 100.
Oh, that's every area.
I just forgot it. We had to go.
Then, and the last area was the final boss has some shit. Well, and that 275 missiles and 15 power bombs. Good. Oh, yeah, wait. Are we close to a teleporter?
No.
We're on the other side. Actually, no, we are close to a teleporter. It's not a teleporter we would need. Close to the purple one. Want to put us anywhere near what we need.
At least I remembered that one thing after fiddling around.
Also, I'm looking at that. You massively overcomplicated it. We could have actually gotten that earlier. A way to get that is break the 3 power bombs, drop all grapple beam up, have it be pulled down a layer, and then just while sitting on it, shoot the other 3 with missiles and pull it down farther.
Okay, I did that the cool way.
No, you did that the convoluted way.
You act like my skill isn't.
The man's way, it was like unnecessarily overcomplicating it and making it harder for yourself.
You act like that wasn't skillful, Curtin.
Wouldn't it be more skillful to do it in less moves?
That's not how this works. Orange teleporter is up and over. Alright, so orange teleporter right here. worth it. Ow. 100%. Ow.
Okay, we still have the last area.
I just missed the one thing like a dunce.
Like, we don't have it 100% yet, because like I said,
You know what the fuck I mean.
we still have the last area, but it's another area that is quite tiny, so it shouldn't take that long to 100% if it even has anything in it.
You know what the fuck I mean. Style with the one power bomb though. Okay, so now we have to get from here to. We do this every time. Down and up the tree.
And soon the dread will be over. This is all the cutting and shit. Wasn't able to talk about the flame and wasn't able to talk about my flame and habanero opinions.
Because and what do you mean ammo maximum capacity?
Yeah, max.
Oh no, energy. Actually, I'm missing bombs. Because unfortunately it was a vine run and we had to cut around, but like we tried to make certain points, and my bigger, broader thing, I think like my problem with Super Metroid was the lack of conveyance. This game has good conveyance, but and now I will be fair.
To a degree, I kind of wish the game had a better way of telling you the portions of the map you didn't have filled in.
Oh yeah, exactly. That was my only beef with that. The checkpointing is good. Most other things are fine enough, and I am a Samus armed to the freaking teeth.
No, the Samus that was armed to the teeth is the fusion one, because I agree, you don't need 74 power bombs. Why are there so many power bombs in that game?
What's your beef about the 74 power bombs? What's your beef about the 74 power bombs?
Because there's literally no time/reason you would ever have.
The one guy showed in that review was, when are you ever going to actively use 74 of these things? Bring it on, Birdman! Bring it on, Birdman! Maybe we can call this a game and go back to other shit we were doing. Like Child of Light.
I don't know.
Or start No More Heroes. Mister, I wanted to play No More Heroes.
We kept fucking recording this! I'm sorry, I can't play No More Heroes 2 when you were playing Dread at 3 in the morning.
It's 2:57 in the morning. There's no percent here.
Oh, I guess we have everything then. So then other than appeasing the lizard brain, there's no reason to fill shit in. Why did you not save?
I just want to see what was past the door.
That could have been the final boss.
Okay, based on what I know about how the final boss triggers, no. Well, it's cool. I figured as much.
It's just a stupid coffee. You can't.
10 unlocked and got.
Oh.
Hold. Okay, so I often don't do intros on the file select. I'm loading a file. New content unlocked in gallery.
Oh, what?
I am confusion.
Oh.
Might cut past some of this loading screen. I normally start at the load, not at the. Oh, that seemed a little bit faster. Huh.
Is that, I think, an update at some point fixed the...
We're playing. Okay. If I'm coming to that weird unlock, I tried to beat the final boss, stopped because it was late, but then we had, like, into the recording, and I was going to be cutting around, trying to show a good, successful attempt, but then in the middle, I unlocked something at random, just loading the game.
Okay.
What?
Got the powerbomb that. Remember?
What? Oh wait, that was how. Yeah, that. Yeah. Yeah. That's fine. But then they blow up and just give you a bunch of bullshit. It's just one of those. I was in the middle of like cutting around. I didn't expect we would unlock something. And so that was weird. Let's show the cutscene again. Loading time seemed faster. Maybe that.
Uploading data.
It appears your Metroid DNA has caused you to become a Metroid.
I'm waiting for the point where there's an update that makes something easier without telling people and then the internet's going to complain about it.
Must have slowed down the process. They were the only tribe capable of controlling the Metroids. Though you possess their DNA, you are not a Koha. Your physical prowess suggests that you must also possess Machian DNA. Metroids are programmed.
I was thinking about that.
Enemies. It is very probable that your metamorphosis occurred as a result of Raven Beak's attack.
Oh, because the
His
developers
presence
were
awakened
Mercury
the
Steam and
Metroid's
not
killer
Nintendo
instinct.
themselves. I don't
Since then,
know how
your
much like
metamorphosis has
they would
accelerated.
do that
You
because I
can
don't
no
know how
longer
much
be controlled.
creative control
You are
they
now a Metroid,
have.
Samus Aran. Your very existence poses a grave threat to the galaxy. However,
Trying to beat
there
This
is
is also
a
the part where I'd like to remind everyone that at Mercury Steam were the developers of Lords of Shadow 2 and Mirror of Fate.
You have followed my instructions faithfully so far. Continue to do so. It's that simple. I consider your performance here on ZDR.
Your
highly
AI was
satisfactory.
Raven
As
Beak
I
the whole
believe
time.
It has even awakened your Metroid powers. I was right to let you live during our first encounter. That one
Wait,
glimpse you
what do we
showed
know?
told me everything. Submit
Well,
and offer
when you
up
start the game, it's
your
not.
plan is the
Yeah,
only
When
way to bring
Adam
us
is in the
together.
elevator and says communications getting fuzzy,
This
after the elevators, when
Yeah,
you
it's like when he stopped referring to you as lady.
lady, Raven Beak wouldn't know about your weird connection to your AI. I love the whoosh. Fuck this final boss. If anything needs a fucking update to be easier, is this fucking asshole. At least update normal mode, you jerks. You don't have to update fucking hard mode, at least update normal. Do some light damage, damn it. Any health I do get is basically if you back me into a corner, I fucking lose. Mid. At least heal the player to full, because if I had been healed to full, I might have been able... to fucking win.
He's in the gold thing.
Yeah. Damn it. I tried. I know he was in the gold phase. You get it! Alright. I don't like this boss. I don't. I fucking don't. This boss is stupid. This boss is stupid. This boss is stupid. This boss is artificial difficulty. Most of my energy. This boss is just artificial difficulty. If it, I wouldn't actually mind mid-health checkpoints at least on this fucking phase, and I will keep screaming that because this phase has way too much health, does way too much fucking damage. Damn it! Damn it! Damn it! Damn it! Damn it! He shouldn't have. His damage output is way too strong. Just try. The soaring missiles work out, but they are technically less damage. I'm just trying to fucking get to it. Because you can't. Damn it! Damn it! I'm getting worse at these. Trying to hit him with the regular missiles. Storm missiles technically.
I've counted. They only do more damage when you get the
Yeah.
max lock on. Earlier I fucking said it's roughly around 40 regular missiles and 8 of the 5 lock on storm missiles. That's the only way it can do more damage. When you get the like roughly 8-5 lock ons, this phase it can actually be killed very quickly. But you need to get the timing down for the 5 lock on.
Damn it. I will give you it's not the worst phase, but if this phase had a fucking counter, if this phase had a fucking if this phase had a counterattack or two, and I could just counter spam and be done with it, I would actually consider this phase to be fine. My problem is that you don't get a fucking counter ability in the game. It's oh, yeah. Okay. You just need storm missile spam or a couple of good. But then, again, that goes to the other point I was saying, where you kind of built this boss. What if the player is maxed out on resources? Damn it! I tried to counter it! Let's just go ahead and drop that. Damn it. Give me the songs, motherfucker, because those give me energy. I'm actually cool with that. Damn it. Oh, damn it. Well, I'm doing better. Just kind of... Oh! I messed up on my fucking counter timing.
You did it early.
Oh, well, yeah, no, I realized that. No.
Like, cool.
Damn it. That's the dumb part. I would have won if I had fucking...
Oh, because of the way this phase works.
I know how it works. I need the counters. You can't beat this phase unless you need like 2 good counters.
Roughly 2. I believe he still does have a health value you need to get him to before the counters.
No. Oh, good. That I can deal with.
Early, like...
Hold on. If I just...
Oh, black hole.
Hold on. Damn it.
Laser. Because the laser is aiming it when you realize if he starts aiming it.
Shh. I can get him. Hold on. I can get...
Counter?
Oh no! Damn it! No! So... Damn it! I could win that. I had it. Suck it. Just drop a power bomb. Just.
Oh, sun.
Oh, I'm actually okay with the signs because the.
Those give you the amount of damage back.
Damn it! He would just. Damn it! No! Damn it! Damn it! Yes! Think I got him!
He might barely survive. Like, it's like early on, when people didn't fully understand the fight, there was apparently a damage threshold that made it so. Yeah.
No!
Wait.
I beat him!
Okay. I believe you have to get one more counter. I believe to beat him, you have to get one more. So I think the damage threshold thing was,
Damn it.
was true.
I'm okay with the signs. He would, if I could just get.
He's aiming.
I really like that. Damn it.
Oh yeah, he can aim the shine card up. Much like you. Oh, counter.
Yes! Wait!
Now, after you do this, I believe you have to counter again. That's, I think, what the game does. So,
hold on, I think we
you're gonna have to pay attention for another flash at the end of this. Yeah.
Yeah, no.
You got the counter there. Okay, that's what it is.
No.
You have to, after you counter him, he has enough health to where when it goes into that cutscene, you have to then counter him.
Counter him like 3 times, but screwed up. That's my one problem with this. He's at the health threshold. I just need to. Damn it. Damn it! Oh no! No! Damn it! I just.
Fascinating.
Fuck!
It seems like the game will eventually just give it to you if you deal enough damage.
Oh, thank God!
I didn't know that!
Okay, I won. Yes!
Okay, it's technically not quite over yet, but you know what comes next.
This is a Metroid game, and I had the ending spoiled. Just even your Metroid DNA is no longer necessary. Do you want to know why? Asshole.
Motherfucker.
If I had health checkpoints, I would have won the other day, but it's because I can now clone any of the most powerful Metroids of all. Is that right? So it seems like after a certain point, you just do so much damage, you can just get. No one can stand in my way, not even you. Still going on the recording. Foolish daughter, leave the galaxy to me. Close your eyes and rest. power is everything.
Oh, Samus died. The end.
Her eyes are mean. Here we go! The best fucking thing in this game!
She's also draining power from the ship. Sit there and think about that.
She's a Metroid now. She really is Metroid. Only took like 30 years. Like about 25, 30 years.
But she still doesn't know how to crawl. Metroid still can't crawl.
Okay.
It's not quite over yet. And there's a loading screen here, so I wonder if the game will give you a checkpoint here. Because it has a loading
I
screen.
think too, because of the old, and like, I can say this because it's coming off and yeah. First, Metroid suit. Second off, I think you do get a checkpoint here because this and the...
Oh, it has a loading screen, so I assume you would.
A random purple X-Parasite, which turns him into Raid Raven Beak zombie.
It's the power beam thing.
What?
It works like the power beam did against the fucking...
What?
It works like the power beam worked against the Emmys.
I was trying that.
I believe...
Better fucking checkpoint me there.
It's like the fucking charge shot. I believe...
I couldn't get the rabbit
Okay, yep.
Okay, good. Thank Christ.
Oh, thank fuck.
That's No,
I believe it's the charge shot. You have to, I believe, charge it up and then use it.
I'm sorry, but that is kind of unclear. I'm glad they checkpoint you here, because
Well, like I said, they gave you a fucking loading screen. I
Yeah,
assumed
no.
there would be a checkpoint.
The way the
Just
beam...
stupid.
I don't know how the beam works.
Because I'm pretty sure it's the charge version of the Omega Beam, not the rapid fire. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Okay,
And now you have to hold that on it.
No, just hold the button. No, I was just confused. Because I was just confused. You do have to charge up into the fuck you beam. Okay, so that is a glorified cutscene, but I was just confused by the... Hey, but the checkpoint you.
Meaning you have a checkpoint escape sequence going.
Meaning, at the very least, we have a checkpoint at that. That's a glory.
Thank fuck.
I like that she didn't absorb that one.
She's just like, take no chances.
Take no prisoners.
The
The Metroid suit.
motherfucker.
Speaking of...
Oh.
What?
Yeah, it's hyper beam and you have to shine spark at some point in the ceiling.
Alright. Oh, what?
You have to shine spark straight up. I don't remember where in the ceiling it is, but...
I think it's right. Damn it! I'm already losing all my fucking time because I don't know where to get out. Oh.
I just love how, like, just a lot of people in this section will just, like, wiggle the beam as they run, and it can blow shit off.
Also, I wanted to show that.
You're invincible.
I'm a Metroid, they're X-Parasites.
Oh.
But,
Oh, yeah, I didn't think about that.
well, they're X-Parasites and I'm a Metroid. You don't have to kill anything. Go out the enemy door.
Wait.
No, damn it. We are cutting it close.
Most people cut this at close anyway. Honestly, I've seen a few. I've actually seen like a few people fail at this. Because even if you get the shine spark at the beginning, like you're still going to cut it really close. I believe they only do shine spark up that tunnel, but whatever. I don't. I think you have to keep going up.
Alright.
That's why, like,
Yeah.
that's why they wanted you to shine spark up that tunnel, but whatever. Huh.
I'm going to lose.
No, we're ridiculously close. If you keep going up, you might barely be able to make it.
I'm not gonna make it. See? Because of the fucking... Yeah.
Oh no!
No.
We.
3 seconds.
Oh! Oh, first fucking try. I said you cut that dangerously fucking close anyway. Also, something interesting. You burned the door from far away. I've seen when people get close, it does the sit-in-place locking thing, like when you have to shoot the enemies. You just burned the door as you ran up. I said we were dangerously fucking close.
Oh, this was... Also, this moment that...
Died on the cutscene, didn't die on the escape sequence, that because I've seen other people cut it close and only have like barely 30 seconds left, we don't die on. LP curse is a fucking bitch sometimes.
That happened.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Whatever. That one guy, his name I do not remember. Something bro. The ex-Parasite version of him just assimilated into Samus, and I lost my Metroid powers.
Cause we can't have Samus running around with the Hyper Beam in the next game. That would be obnoxious. Yeah, that would be too overpowered.
Not the worst thing, and this actually went a little bit shorter than I thought it would. Because when I actually...
I thought we were gonna die on the escape sequence at least once. Because, like, I looked at the escape sequence and I saw a lot of people would cut it really close, only having like 50... only having
Hey!
20 or
No,
30
I died!
Like I said,
I died to the give me ball. Like, I died to the free boss, and I...
Die to the cutscene! Don't die on the part that most people actually do cut kind of close. LP curse is a fucking bitch sometimes.
Regardless of how people feel...
Cause like, as soon as I saw you blow through the wall, I was like, wait a minute, that's the door. You're super close.
Final boss needs mid-health checkpoints. I don't care what anyone says, that wouldn't remove the challenge. Because if you don't have a lot of health and missiles...
Or if not mid-health checkpoints, at least give the bosses a fucking life bar. Because here's a fun fact. You know that guy that does that series of having his wife that doesn't play video games to play video games? I believe a few months ago he had a video about RPGs where he had her play a bunch of RPGs. And something interesting in that video, she liked the RPGs where she could
see enemy health because it lets you make better decisions.
Yes.
Okay. Here, how I would change the final boss, and then we can talk about this game a little bit, regardless of what anyone fucking says. Mid-health checkpoints at the phases, at least at the stupid bird phase. Or make sure the player tops off. Or the other thing that I said that they could have done, if all the phases could be basically counter food into Oblivion, I would have just looked for the opening of, like, the flying phase, smacked him upside the head, and...
Because the other thing, like, with all the bosses that balances them back out is the counters will always give you large clusters of missiles and health back, so it's like if you deal a lot of damage, but you also take a lot of damage, but because you're taking a lot of damage, you're getting a lot of health back, so you can basically get, if you don't get hit too much, the health back from the balls.
The counter essentially rewards you for executing it, but then I actually screwed up on the one final boss part, and I thought I had, I screwed up, didn't realize you needed a counter, then we realized you needed the counter, screwed it up that one time, but then I just did so much damage, they were like, just fuck it. This motherfucker did enough damage and keeps failing this, just keeps failing this, just give him the W. What? This, all in all, this game is not that bad. I just hate, like, the checkpointing and stuff is good, and if this game checkpointing like Super Metroid, I would have absolutely hated this game. IQ returns, I love that.
We point that out every time.
Yes.
They just kept the IQ and aim in China.
Yeah. This game is not that bad. I fundamentally hate Super Metroid and feel this game does what Guacamelee does, which is, it's like stupid fucking difficult, but the checkpointing and convenience is so good. I don't lose a lot of progress, but...
And also remember with Guacamelee, the double damage costume, that's something you have to opt into.
Oh, yeah, I know. But the thing about Guacamelee in general, you're always checkpointing at rooms.
Yes. The checkpoints are very...
Whereas this game is normally checkpointing you at rooms, important doors, and...
I'm going to be honest, I was afraid that at the one section was the beam and the escape sequence didn't have a checkpoint in it, but then when I saw there was a loading screen, I was like, okay, I'm pretty sure there's going to be a checkpoint here purely because of the loading screen.
And because of the escape sequence, and they know making you do the entire in-game is unreasonable. Especially because it was, with the one part was kind of unclear where you had to charge up to get the fuck you beam.
Well, you had to charge for the destroying beam. Yeah, because I feel like that was the logic they were working on. Is that they...
I fundamentally enjoyed this more than Super Metroid. I will be open about that. Super Metroid bothers me, but... Jesus Christ. That's pathetic.
That's roughly around how most people have a 100%.
Cute.
The 15 hours, but like 14 to 16, from my understanding, is roughly the average for most people to 100%.
Because you're going to take a lot of time felling at stuff.
That's why I said, from my understanding, it's the rough average.
Hard mode unlocked.
And I guess at this point, it would just be a quick run through the gallery, and then...
Hold on.
We're done.
Normal mode. I'm gonna... New content in the gallery. I just wanna...
that's also another thing. Again, 14 to 16 roughly for people that went out of their way to 100% the game before fighting Raven Beak.
And that extra file was just a copy file in case something stupid happened in recording. But we're back. That's fine. It's like certain other Metroid games. What?
Or Raven Beak.
I can work with that. System. Wait. Right.
You have to click on a file and... You have to click on a file and then...
Extras, yeah. Okay.
It's tied to unlocks and shit, so...
Gallery.
You guys can just quickly run through what we got on the gallery. And then only the one ending reward.
And I wanted to kind of talk about a bunch of these, and I'm sorry, this kind of pisses me off. A bunch of these are tied to you basically need to beat this game in like an hour. And I'm sorry, that is horseshit. 100% reward is this image.
Neat.
This is what you get for 100%ing. But to get the ending rewards, you have to get
Hey, look at them.
Yeah. This is what you get for 100%. That's why it's a special Screw Attack logo. But to get the other ending cards, you basically need to beat the game in like an hour.
Yeah, like if the Zero Mission one is the like lowest time, like I said, most people, you know, because first playthrough and shit, like most people get this when they beat the game, especially if people like to go for
because
100% before the final.
I swear to God, one of these beat the game in like an hour and a half. The fuck?
Well, they do have those intentional sequence breaks. The one that,
at least
if one of those is beat the game in like an hour.
Hey, this fucking blind run, I went for 100%. I earned this.
And I said, just looking at footage of the ending and shit from different people, unless, you know, someone played through the game on their own, I've seen, like, most streamers and shit, everyone basically just gets the Zero Mission one.
Because I did something not a lot of people did anyway. A lot of people get, like, 90-something% because they can't do Shine Spark puzzles.
That's why I said, I've seen for the people that go for 100% before Ravenbeak, they roughly...
Oh, you can't just change them down. Cool.
Meat?
That explains a lot, actually.
What?
That was the first enemy missing the head plate and the arm.
Oh.
What? This is literally Expedition as art.
It's Lord Dumps's art.
Yeah.
This would be those the guard enemies you kept fighting. It's explaining everything. They call Kraid. Yeah, they call Kraid or Kraid species. They call that thing. They threw their soldiers into the Lazarus pit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's entirely what this.
Yep. And then they were told the enemies have to hunt Samus. They put her DNA charge on it. Yeah.
Well, and with that, right, quick, go back to, like, the second one that was the experiment thing in the test. No, the second one's Kraid. The third... I know that's supposed to be the one boss you fought in that, like, heater area, but I feel like because, due to them not having as much of a vendetta against Prime anymore, anyone else feel like this is supposed to be a reference to, like, the Parasite Queen from Prime? Because that was a sort of similarly designed alien that was in, like, a giant tube. It's probably not that. It's just looking at it made me think of that.
Unrelated Easter egg that a lot of people talked about that we sort of glossed over. Before this one room is frozen, that boss from Super Metroid that is weak to grapple beam, where they coded the game, any grapple beam point can hurt that thing, and those electric points on the wall are technically coded as grapple points.
Meaning if you were to, like, say, hack the game, place in a standard grapple block, and latch onto that, it's going to do the electric thing.
Yes. That boss is in a tube.
Huh. Of course it is.
But then what other people pointed out, under that is a large room that looked like a boss arena, but there's nothing in it. And then when the room gets frozen, the tube is frozen over, and it's hard to tell. It's like this silhouette monster. We need to end. Okay. Hey, less than an hour, barely. So, for what it's worth, I beat the goddamn game. And there are people who are having trouble just beating the final boss. Final point, finishing off my little thought point here. The game is fine because the checkpoint and continue system far outweighs bad design, in my opinion, where I fundamentally hate Super Metroid because of how much you have to do in Super Metroid if you die and go back to save points. Whereas this game, I never had that feeling, but the final boss of this game, I kind of wish at least one of his phases would have had a health checkpoint, because we always kind of talk about, A Link to the Past, the final boss feels like they expected you to have 20 hearts, all the ammo upgrades in both defensive tunics, This final boss feels like they expected you to have max energy.
Or if not max, near max, have like 95%.
And that kind of bothers me, because if you just naturally didn't 100% this game like I did, you would get to the final boss and basically die in like 2 hits. And not have enough ammo to actually fight him, because he has a unique beam resist status. Where you don't do full beam damage. The best damage is ice missiles, because storm missiles are essentially regular missile damage multiplied exponentially, whereas ice missiles are the strongest missile in the game. So if you're using storm missiles, you're sacrificing a tiny bit of power for ridiculous amount of ammo that in some cases eclipses.
Like I said, basically eclipses only when you get the max lock-ons.
Because at that point, it's just so... It's like...
No.
Because ice missiles were like 400 damage, and I think storm missiles like 300 a hit or something. It's like... It's like 100, 150 difference when it's like 300, 300, 300, 300, 300, 300,
That's why I
300.
said, if you can get the 5, it is like the 5 lock-ons, it was roughly 8.
Okay.
Well, besides the gallery, wasn't there like 2 other options? Like, there's credits and mission log. What the fuck is... Oh, that's what mission log is. Okay, we can stop then.
No, the mission log is the mission log of the things you did that help you remember what you were doing.
Okay.
And then credits.
And then credits would just be the...
Oh. It's just the credits.
Again. Okay, we can stop then.
We're about to stop.
I just saw mission log, and I was like, what the fuck is that? Is that the... Yeah. I was like, is that the in-game thing, or is that like an in-game achievement list or something?
It's good to have at least a basic reminder of shit you blew up.
Oh.
All in all, and as mad as I got at this game at points, fundamentally, this is the best 2D Metroid because of its checkpoints and convenience that far outweigh the lack of checkpoints and convenience of every other 2D Metroid, but I do wish that a few other modern conveniences have been used, or at least, and you don't have to be a condescending dick about this, maybe, and this could also have a mode for just sort of elitist people, maybe instead of earning hard mode for beating the game, maybe having the normal mode actually has a lot more leeway, like boss health, checkpoints, and overall less damage and stuff. Like, a good example, to finish my thought, I'm super mixed on Saga Frontier Remaster, but if you pick the enhanced mode, you get all the save states and the damage readjustments and all this other
like the modern re-releases of the PS1 Final Fantasy games, it's like there's so much quality of life and to undo the archaic bullshit.
They could have just imagine this game, and you could have even taken like the Saga and worded it this way without being condescending. Modern mode, retro mode. Retro mode actively eliminates a lot of checkpoints and conveniences, and says as a harder experience, like older Metroid, and then the modern mode description, extra like checkpoints and conveniences, more like a modern game, and I would have probably enjoyed this a little bit more.
I know we do.
We need to stop.
Yes, we do need to stop so we can get clicked. No, I feel like that's one of those funny instances if they did something like that. Because of the way the Emmys work, that's one of the few times the internet would probably complain that the retro mode is artificial difficulty, because people would say the Emmys feel like they were designed around the modern checkpointing, and when you don't have the modern checkpointing, you realize how fucking...
Even in the hard mode, you could have threw a bone, and there's just... Because the Emmys instant kill you, that's the only thing in hard mode that doesn't...
So,
like...
I guess that was the last thing before we stop. So it's hard mode, just standard things have more health than damage, you have less health than damage?
From my understanding, the way the hard mode works, and I haven't looked into it, but I believe you take way more damage and things take like way less damage and have way more health, but a lot of the checkpointing still exists where you're not sent back to save points and stuff, because the game is so fundamentally built.
I kind of wish that, like, a hard mode had been, it's like, things have a lot more, like, things deal a lot more damage and shit, but you start with, like, every upgrade, so that would be this weird, like, balanced New Game Plus thing where you can then super go out of, like, order and shit. Like,
Final!
Yes, we do. Like how Shantae and the Pirates Curse has a speed run mode after you beat the game that starts you.
A lot of people said for 100% or just beating the game, a unique thing would have been, so through glitches and hacking and stuff, glitches you can get the Omega Beam out of a few of those rooms and leave enemy zones and break the game with the Omega, with the, like, Omega Beam, and then the Metroid version of that, people hacked the game to try that against enemies and bosses, and it basically one-shots everything, because it's just coded to do millions of hit points of damage. And a lot of people said, imagine if you got 100%, that you could do an interesting mode where they drop you at basically the start of the game, but you don't, like, you either have all your upgrades and it is totally, it's the start of the game, you can free roam and go around in an unintended order. And this mode more exists for just speedrunning Lark, and what if Samus had the wave beam and goes to fight the first boss or whatever? But a lot of people are like, imagine a bonus mode, drop you at the start of the game, here's that Metroid beam, have fun, motherfuckers. Because then, I love dumb shit like that. Because then you just walk into a boss room. Brrr, dead. Brrr, dead. Brrr.
Like, that
would have been so fucking cool.
Final point, if I remember correctly, the Omega Beam and, like, the Hyper Beam at the end, it only does, I think it's like 200 or 300 damage a hit, but it's like per second. The beam you use on the enemies is 1500 damage per second. Yeah. Someone had a chart of the damage the Metroid one deals, and their chart, they wrote like 7 nines. Which would explain why they just walk into the first boss. Because, because, you know, that's what happens when you have the 2-minute save sequence. Okay, we can stop now.
We need to stop!
Yes.
That
went a lot smoother than I honestly thought it would.
Me too! Because I stopped and kind of focused for a minute. Because when you focus, it's not the worst thing. But god damn it.
Focusing.
With all of that said, now I just need to make sure this... I changed the way we record, but this change in the way we record, I'm just clicking around for my own reason. Anyway, I changed the way we record, but the change seems to have made recordings more stable, because I noticed what I've been editing of this game is kind of unstable when I'm editing, but I can get it into a decent video. But with all of that said, we really do need to end. This has been the blind run of Metroid Dread. Let me speak more clearly. Have a couple of other blind runs we need to get back to now, and a couple of other games we wanted to work on. But with all of that said, I hope you all enjoyed this blind experience. Even through all my anger, I can't fundamentally hate this game. Even though I did get kind of heated at points, and I hate parts of it, the checkpointing and convenience makes this the best Metroid, in my opinion. Even though a lot of butthurt people are kind of... I'm gonna finish this thought and then end. A bunch of butthurt fans were like, oh, when you actually think about it, this isn't really like the Metroids I grew up with. There's too much hand-holding and checkpointing. I'm like, really? Really? And I'm glad about that, because that is something in the Metroid games that needed fixing, but this is not my time to ramble about any of that. So, here comes the end slate. I will see you all next time. So, good night, everybody. Bye! It's time for the question of the day and my overall thoughts on the topic. So anyway, to end off the Let's Play, I have a couple of questions. How many of you agree with me that the final boss should have given the player checkpoints in between the different sections? I don't care what anyone says, mid-health checkpoints would have been fine, because I feel like without mid-health checkpoints, the final boss is a little bit of a artificial difficulty spike, simply because you have to do the entire battle in one go, pretty much, and I can't think of a valid reason that they would make you do the entire fight in one go other than holding on to incredibly archaic ideals of what should be considered challenging, and I'm doing air quotes for that. And yes, I will harp on this point. There is no reason that a modern game should be designed this way unless you're holding on to archaic and outdated concepts of difficulty. But anyway, enough rambling about that. My next question is, what did you think of the Let's Play overall? I thought the Let's Play was good, but as far as blind runs go, I had to cut out a lot, and yes, I know I cut around a good bit of me getting kind of pissed off, but this game design bothers me because I feel like this game is way too focused on trying to emulate games like Super Metroid versus trying to actually stand on their own 2 feet. So I think this Let's Play was a bit of a mess at points, but that is to be expected in a blind run, and that leads into my final question. What is your overall opinion on Metroid Dread? In my opinion, this game does so many things right, but I feel it does so many things wrong, because as stated previously, I think this game attempted to emulate Super Metroid, and I feel like that is a detriment. Yes, I hate Super Metroid, and I hate this game hearkening back to Super Metroid in so much of its design philosophies, while also being really well designed in other ways that completely abandon the terrible game design from Super Metroid. And I feel like this game is stuck between 2 identities: a modern, well-designed game and an old-school, archaic mess harkening back to the SNES era, where games were blatantly designed to be unfair so that you could not rent the game and beat it over a weekend. If this game had consistent checkpoints, especially in the boss fights, I would have actually considered this to be the best Metroid game, because it would have effectively removed my biggest problem with the Metroid series. But as it stands, I feel this game sits awkwardly in the middle. And my final point on that, I also feel like the collectibles are way too arbitrary and obtuse, simply because, Super Metroid has weird, obtuse collectibles that require creative and weird use of the speed booster and the shine spark, so let's create weird, obtuse collectibles that require creative and weird uses of the speed booster and the shine spark. That should not be a thing, in my opinion. But anyway, this rant is over. You can leave your thoughts, opinions, and answers in the comments, or you can leave them on social media. All of my social media links, as well as my Discord links, are in the video description. Now, as always, I need to be a shill for a minute. If you subscribe to the channel and if you follow me on social media, that really helps our communities grow. But anyway, I hope you all enjoyed the video, and I hope I will see you all next time. So, as always, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night, everybody. I hope you come back someday. See you later.